everyone, welcome back to Rebecca's Colouring Arts and Crafts and obviously book reviews. So today I'm actually going to do a book review here of Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. I probably butchered that. This was provided to me by HarperCollins Australia in exchange for a review, and I have to say I really loved this book. I loved everything about it. So in response to people, I've had a comment on one of my videos that why didn't I tell them the ending kind of thing. This isn't a spoiler video. So I just want to put a disclaimer in here. The reason I put spoiler on the end is just in case anything comes out that's spoilerish. I'm trying to do these as spoiler free as possible so people can find out and explore the ending themselves and how they want to find it out and all of that. So I'm not trying to spoil anything. I'm just trying to provide a bit of both but equal measure without completely ruining or spoiling the book for others. So that is why I put spoilers on the thing, just to be safe and so people know that there could be spoilers in there, but I'm trying to avoid them as much as possible so people can experience the book and the story themselves. So anyway, what we're going to come into Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin today. And Serpent and Dove is about a witch and a witch hunter who are put together in holy matrimony. And pretty much our main characters are Lou, Coco, Reed, and I can't think of the other person's name. Reed and there's a few characters I can't think of. There's the Archbishop, who basically forces the marriage of Reed and Lou together. So Reed is our witch hunter or chasseur, and Lou is our witch, but she's kind of trying to hide her witch powers because she's hiding from other people who basically want to kill her. So I'm not going to spoil all that. I kind of want to leave that for your imagination. But basically, the gist of the story is Lou is forced to marry Reed after she's captured breaking in to steal this special ring. It's called Angelica's ring, and it's basically like a witch ring. So Angelica was a witch and she stole this ring to try and protect her from the people who want to kill her, basically. And so she steals this ring, gets captured, and basically, well, she doesn't get captured straight away. She runs away, sees her friend Coco, tells her to get out of town and protect herself, and then she gets captured. But once she's captured, because they don't think she's a witch, they just think she's a thief, they basically, shall we say, because she puts Reed in a sort of a compromising situation in public by accident, and so the Archbishop's forced to deal with it by basically forcing them to get married because it can be explained as he's disciplining his wife in that situation because they are married. So they're forced to marry, and Lou goes and lives with Reed in the tower. At that time, they've sort of got a love-hate relationship. They're despising each other for putting themselves in that situation, but at the same time, Reed vows to her to honour and protect her and keep her safe and protected. And so I guess you could say their relationship kind of goes from a hate sort of relationship and slowly builds to the fact where they grow to love each other and they can't live without each other. The fact is, Reed was also an orphan, and it is discovered later on that he is basically an orphan of a witch. So that's probably a bit of a spoiler there. But yeah, he's basically an orphan of a witch, and he discovers this on the way to saving Lou from her witch mother and her coven, basically. I'm not gonna go into it a lot, except for the fact to say that basically Lou is the means to an end. So basically her mother had her with someone of importance, and she intended to sacrifice her line in order to kill out the line of kings and all his, basically, as they would call them in those days, bastards or illegitimate sons. And so she wants to wipe out the king's line so the witches can take back the land that, as she says, so rightfully belongs to theirs. However, Lou doesn't want to die, but also she realizes by living with the chasseurs that yes, the witches have their reasons for things, the chasseurs have their reasons, both have their beliefs, but it doesn't mean that either or either has to win. There can be a middle ground, and so Lou kind of wants to do the middle ground, but her mother isn't willing to do that. The chasseurs aren't willing to do that. And so they're kind of in this tricky situation, and Lou's trying to prevent either or either from happening. So she's trying to do the middle ground and prevent it from happening so that basically the king's line doesn't die, but the witches' lines are still there, but she believes there's a middle ground that they can come to terms with. And I'm not really sure how to explain it. Basically, Lou wants to stop the death and destruction of others, but at the same time she doesn't want to die, so she was trying to find ways of circumnavigating that, but her mother went over that. But then she still ends up finding a loophole in the end anyway, and basically Reed saves her. Reed and Coco, Ansel, that's it. Ansel is the other character that we've got, that's the main character that kind of ends up being a friend of Lou. So yeah, and basically they go into, I can't remember the name of the forest, but it's basically this forest where the witches hide, and so they go into there. Things happen, people die, some people die, witches die. And basically in the end Reed does something desperate in order to save Lou, and he discovers that he actually has magic, which is a first because typically boys don't have magic, and they basically save his mother as well. He finds out who his mother is, and then they intend to go into hiding because obviously the chasseurs will be hunting Reed now as well, because Reed killed someone of importance to the chasseurs in order to save Lou. And I'm not going to say who or what because I don't want to spoil it, but basically overall Reed's love for Lou wins out in the end, and he would do anything he could to protect her, even over his career or his beliefs as a chasseur. And finding out the things he does, he, I guess, starts to change in the way he thinks about things and accepts things and believes things. And it's the same for Lou, seeing his lifestyle as a chasseur, and I think they sort of both start to see a bit more of the middle ground rather than just one end or the other with the beliefs they've been brought up with. Overall, for this book, I know it's another 5 stars, but I would definitely say 5 stars because of the fact the story really gripped you in. It really flowed well. It was amazing. I loved how they sort of just had a little detail of the name with the character. Then as they switched between parts, it was like just this little description in both French and English under each of the parts, and it just, those descriptions really meant a lot. Like, they really fit in with the theme and the storyline, the world building, the plot. It really fitted. Lou had to kill a few people in order to survive as well, and so there's all these little different elements that just come in and really build the strength of the story and the plots and the characters and the scenery, and it just flows really well. Like, you really get into it. I also love the cover of this book. It is amazing. This is obviously my paperback copy, provided to me by HarperCollins Australia, and I appreciate that so much. I received this before I actually got my Fairy Loot edition, which I've also taken a picture of. And yeah, so I'm really glad that I got the chance to review this. Yeah, thanks again to HarperCollins Australia for providing me with this book in exchange for review. It really means a lot to me. I greatly appreciate it. I would highly recommend you going out and reading this. I can see why it is so highly hyped, because I loved every minute of it. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this book review. And if you did, please leave a like, subscribe, comment. I always love hearing from you. And I will see you next time. Bye.